This video is for those of you out there that maybe you're thinking about doing your own car repair. Maybe you have a little bit of confidence, that that you can do something yourself a little better, and save a little money doing some DIY. Well, this video is to dissuade that, because here's what could happen if you get into some car repairs. Let's get under the car right here. Now obviously I'm doing this very unsafely under scissor jacks, which everyone tells you not to do, and I'm actually using 3 scissor jacks. There's one there on that side, one there on that side, and one there for the engine. So here's this was supposed to be, it's Saturday. This repair was started on Monday, and let me just show you what are some of the things that can go terribly wrong and make what you think is going to be a simple repair into an absolute nightmare. So let's get under here and I'll tell you what we were trying to do, and you can already kind of see the problem there. So a couple fun things. So what we were doing is we were replacing the engine mount bushing on the back end of this engine. So there's right there where there's those 4 bolts sticking out, there's a big bracket that then holds in a bushing that then holds the engine, and it was completely shot. So the repair definitely had to be done, but it wasn't critical for the operation of the car, but it was causing some extra vibrations and was likely putting the axle out of alignment, because the passenger side axle runs through it as it has to go that extra distance. So by it sagging down with the engine, it then is forced to be out of alignment. So getting to that seems simple enough. There's 4 bolts, and you can see the holes for where they were. So there's 2 bolts there, there's a bolt that went there, and there's a bolt that goes there that holds the bracket that then holds the mount. And then there's 4 bolts on the engine, and then there's 1 bolt that runs through the bushing. Simple enough. So, but to do this engine mount bracket, you have to remove the axle, and on this car specifically, you actually need to, there's not enough clearance to slide your deep socket in there. Now obviously there is now, because this exhaust manifold that was here got removed. Now you can see there's a glaring issue with this stud right here. So being that it's the first time that I'm dealing with any exhaust manifold studs, I'm realizing what a joy those turn out to be, because there's 6 bolts that was holding it. There's 2 bolts there, there's 2 bolts there, and there's these 2 bolts here that holds this big exhaust piece that sits right in the way. If the exhaust was moved over just an inch, I wouldn't have had to remove it and wouldn't have this nightmare of an issue going on right here. So there's a couple fun things that are happening here. Number one, that thing broke, and also, and this was probably completely my fault, I think I was turning it the wrong way, but I don't know, it may have gotten stuck, it may have gotten cross-threaded, but I broke off the stud that was on that bracket, so I had to replace the bracket. So that was an extra 50 bucks I wasn't planning for. And then I had to take off this exhaust part, which, just even if it had been taken off, with no problem, that means you have to replace the gaskets and the nuts that go in here, because those are non-reusable parts based on the full service manual. And it makes sense why they'd be non-reusable parts. They get very hot, they go through many very extreme heat cycles, and they then should be replaced. Even if they weren't labeled a non-reusable part, it just kind of makes sense. So that's an extra, it's around 40 bucks for the extra nuts and the gaskets. It was another 50 bucks, so that's $90 in extra parts. And then you can have this happen where the stud gets ripped off. So removing that bolt, it got stuck and it got cross-threaded or whatever, and I torqued it off and it split right off. And this is the absolute worst thing that you can have happen to you, especially if you're a DIY mechanic. At least that's happened to me. Maybe there's other worse things, I guess maybe you know, if you have to drill into the head or into the block. So, but out of all the repairs that I've done, which again isn't much, but you know, it's something, it's more than just your regular oil changes, this has been the most horrifying nightmare that I've had to deal with, and it has yet to be dealt with. Potentially I called a mobile welder, and that mobile welder says he can come out on Monday, and I kind of explained it. He didn't really speak English all that well, so I don't know if he got the full grasp of the issue that I have, that it's up on I have a car up on scissor jacks, and you know, that's where this thing is. But he seemed to say, now here's another issue. Here's just a little aside. So the axle's been out for now going on 6 days, and the entire time it's just been slowly dripping out transmission fluid. And this is just absolutely fascinating piece of physics here, where the fluid is sitting down in here, but it has been able to continuously creep up to this joint right here. And let's see if we can see. So we see that there's fluid there, so it's just been continuously going over that lip. And I'm expecting, I thought at some point, you know, the level would get low enough where it wouldn't continue to do that. But I guess, I don't know if it's correct in assuming, but that transmission fluid is a kind of non-Newtonian fluid, so it's able to do this kind of continuous dripping, which is a whole lot of fun when you're down under here dealing with this nightmare that you've created for yourself, and you have transmission fluid just continuously dripping on you in a way that it, you know, you'd think that it would stop after a while, that, you know, physics and gravity would kind of hold it down there, but apparently the capillary action of the transmission fluid is just going to continuously do that until it completely drains out. So that's fun. So if you wanted a reason to not do any car repairs, here's one of them. And this is a very big reason. And this is probably going to put me off doing any DIY car repairs for a very long time. Because this, I mean, I don't know how much the welder is going to be, but the extra, I'm now getting, it's probably going to be over $100 of extra stuff that I had to pay for, which probably would have almost paid, I don't know, maybe it would have paid a mechanic to just do this job in like fucking, you know, in half a day. I don't know, but I mean, this is a reason to not do your own car repairs, or at least anything that involves, you know, I don't know, but this I mean, I want to scream. I mean, I want to throw this car into, and there's nothing wrong with this car, it's working great, but this issue right here makes me want to firebomb this car into oblivion. You know, I mean, the moment this snapped off, I'm like, holy shit, is this gonna be the thing that totals this car? This one little fucking piece of shit stud that is practically welded in here. So hopefully a welder can fix it. I don't know, but I am very disgusted and tired and what's the right word, and despondent and kind of defeated by this. I mean, I've tried so many things. I've tried impact wrenches, I've tried drilling into it. Oh, and then so what's in there now, there used to be a hole in there, but I tried one of those little look at that thing's just continuously dripping. Fucking amazing, fucking amazing. So I tried one of those little you know, broken bolt extractors, and within like half a turn the end of it just split off into the bolt. It just completely broke. Fantastic, you know, fucking so much fun. So I don't know, I'm gonna try again with the impact screwdriver, because I've kind of made a little wedge in there, so maybe the flathead can grip it enough. I don't know, I mean, this sucks. So this is just, you know, I thought I'd use my horror to help anyone out there who's thinking, oh, you know, let me go do some kind of fun car repairs. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just unless the car is undrivable without the, I mean, if it's undrivable, then, you know, but this car was completely drivable, and now I've made it undrivable by attempting this. So there you go.